G'day watchers, welcome to Perth Watch, your horology channel broadcasting from right here in Perth, Western Australia. Today I am featuring a piece from Evant watches. Now this is the first one I featured, but they are not a new company, been around since 2015. And they are exclusively launching pieces with Neumann watches. So this one has been provided courtesy of Neumann watches based in Singapore. This is by no means their first piece. They actually have a few models in their selection. So take a look at the website if you wish to look more about Evant watches. Now this piece comes in this nice and practical leather, storage / travel case, which I always appreciate these ones. In terms of spin, it's actually pretty darn good. That's at least a 4 out of 5, I reckon. All right, so you just kind of undo this strap and then it comes open. The watch is in the middle. I've stored, spare links over here on this side, and they have provided warranty card and then a basic instruction manual for the Sellita movement in here, but most of us, as always, don't really need to look at that. Okay, so that's it. And I will just say also they've actually personalized this particular packaging with my name, which is kind of a nice little touch that they have done here. Right, guys, so this is the Evant Tropic 39 in a royal blue dial, right? Tropic Diver 39mm ostensibly, but we'll go into exactly what that means. Now, as I say, exclusively available at Neumann watches. All links to products down below. It does come in a vintage lume colored version as well. So 2 versions of this diver. Check it out if you will. The price from Neumann is $589 USD. Occasionally, Neumann do go on sale, so check it out or sign up to their newsletter if you want to be notified about that. All right, guys, so moving on firstly to the movement as I usually do. As alluded to, in here is a Sellita movement. All the stats down the left side of the screen here. You guys will be absolutely no strangers to this very common movement, an analog of the ETA 2824. So it does have the quick set date at the 3 o'clock position, usual white colored dial there, which is okay, it kind of offsets the opposite lume marker on this dial. The accuracy that I have been obtaining in the 2 weeks or so that I've had this running is about plus 8 seconds per day, which is acceptable. I'm, quite happy and perfectly, content living with that type of regulation. Right, so going on to the case here, this is, as I've measured it with calipers, both the diameter of the case and the bezel is 40mm. It is not 39mm, and so I'm not sure what the 39 actually refers to. Thickness is 13.5mm, lug width of 20mm with a lug-to-lug distance, which is fairly substantial here, coming up at 49mm between my thumbs here. The overall weight, surprisingly, is actually not too heavy, 127 grams with a few bracelet link remove. And I think it's because of this beads of rice. It actually isn't a too heavy bracelet, in terms of the possible configurations of bracelets you can get. Finishing wise, you have a circular brushing on the top surface of the bezel here. There's a little bit of differential where the grip is. Circular brushing on the top surface of those lugs that you can see there. And it's got a polished inner bevel as well as an outer bevel. So it's got a slight knurling on the lug there, which is pretty cool, kind of a bit Omega Seamaster-ish. Horizontal brushing on the side and then circular brushing at the bottom. That's really the finishing that you're getting here, and it's pretty well done. The quality of the finishing is pretty sharp. I'm quite pleased with it. Solid screw down case back there with a fairly simple Evant company sign there. Okay, so screw down case back and screw down sign crown. This is a full-blooded 300-meter water-rated diver is what they have produced here. Moving on to the dial now. So here we have clearly a fume dial, right? So it fades out to nearly black on the periphery, but it's a starburst royal blue color. It's got printed brand Evant there, but that's actually lume, as you'll see later. Printed chapter ring around the periphery. It's got an applied logo at the 6 o'clock position, as well as 12 applied indices, which is really nice. It's really quite nicely done. And these are kind of like what you call maxi indices. So they are slightly oversized. Some people don't like the look of that, but it of course maximizes legibility. The hands are polished Mercedes type hands, not quite Mercedes because that our hand doesn't have that trifecta or triple arrows. It's got a diamond shaped lume on the second's hand here, and the lume is BGW9, and it is absolutely everywhere, including the full bezel as well as the name Evant on the dial, and that's a nice touch. The first time I've seen something like that. Lume shot right here, of course, to let you guys see how it looks like in the dark. Right, moving on from there, surrounding the dial is a 120 click unidirectional dive style bezel with full lume, Bakelite type look. Apparently this is kind of like vintage Bakelite type of look. Bakelite is a type of acrylic, I think, but this isn't acrylic. This is actually proper ceramic, so absolutely scratch resistance here. Right, let's just take a listen to it. Nice and chunky, isn't it? So 10 clicks there. It is fairly firm. So I'm not going to turn it all the way around. So sorry for you guys who have OCD and like the 12 o'clock at the 12 o'clock. I unfortunately will just have to leave it at that. So, this bezel insert, fairly unique, and I haven't quite seen anything like that with that convex look that is actually in ceramic. So that, good on them for giving us that vintage type of look that they have done here. In the middle and on top of the dial is a very lightly domed, actually not so lightly domed, actually it's nicely domed, a bit of distortion at the extreme there. So sapphire crystal is what this is, with internal anti-reflective coating that we're getting here. Right, moving on to the bracelet then. So this is what we call the beads of rice. So 7 piece per link. It's brush on the side, polish on the very side surface, and then polish beads of rice, of course. This is really how this is typically done, this beads of rice type of bracelet. It's got solid end links. You've probably already noticed that, but unfortunately it's not screw links. This is actually just push pin adjustment for these bracelet links here. Not pin and collar, just push pin. Fairly solid arms, but it's a pressed metal clasp, which is just friction deployment. There's no push button here, so it feels like kind of cheapened out on the edge here. Now there is a 7-point micro adjustment, which is plenty of micro adjustment, and also to say that the bracelet does taper to 18 millimeters, but the clasp is 19 millimeters wide. This is what this is. Right, okay, that's the entire description of the watch, guys. Gonna snap it on the wrist here for a wrist shot for you guys now. So there we have it, the Evant Tropic Diver 39, which is actually 40 millimeters in size, on my 17 centimeter wrist. That's how it looks like with that beads of rice. Pretty nice bracelet. I quite like beads of rice bracelets. Remember, the thickness is 13.5. Lug to lug, pretty substantial at 49 there. Okay, right. So guys, that's the entire description. What have I enjoyed? What do I think are the good things? Well, look, firstly, I would say that it wears larger than the size. Even if you were told, if I was told that this is a 40 millimeter watch, this does wear larger, because it's got a slim bezel and it's got that maxi dial, so it feels like a 41 or 42 millimeter watch. That's really how it feels like, in terms of the looks and the presence on the wrist. That's either good or bad. I'm going to put this as a pro for now. For under 600 USD, you're getting a full spec diver with a Swiss movement, perfectly competent package, right? It's got Sellita, it's got that sapphire, it's got that nice, vintage Bakelite look, ceramic bezel, full 300 meter water resistant, and I gotta say the quality of the finishing is pretty good. For this price, it is absolutely as expected. It's not below expectation, and you're not gonna get this level, or very difficult to get this level of finishing for much cheaper than this. I like the details. I like the full lume bezel. The lume on the Evant on the dial there. That's cool. The look of the bezel is interesting. Might not be something that everybody likes, but I think it's different. And most importantly, the thing that micro brands often find so difficult to do, this is original. It's not copying anything. It's not homaging anything directly that I know of. And that is something that I can always applaud. What are the weaknesses? Again, I would say it weighs larger than it looks, so if you're a bit cautious about size and presence, just beware this actually feels like a 41 or 42 millimeter on the wrist here. It's not 39 millimeters as the name suggests. I would say, and I've mentioned this already, the bracelet, you know, push pins, the clasp, pressed metal friction, feels like, you know, the budget ran out at the end here. And that's sometimes the case, right? You know, all the budget gets spent on the front and the back kind of gets neglected a bit. And unfortunately, it feels like that's the case here. And also that case back, not the strongest motif. I think they could have done better. Something deep stamped would have been something that raised this package. But hey, that's the back. Who cares, right? Some people absolutely don't give a damn. Some people do like to see nice artwork. I do appreciate good stamped artwork. So that's just me. Okay, guys, there we have it. That's my review and thoughts on this Evant Tropic Diver 39. Let's flip the camera around now for the wrap up. So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed that quick fire review. Let me know your thoughts and comments below. Always look forward to the discussion from my viewers. Guys, if you enjoy my videos, do consider subscribing. New content every week, always aiming to be objective and unbiased about all things horology. Thank you again for sticking with me, and as always, I'll catch you guys again next time.